Welcome students. In today's class, I am starting the simplex technique. Previous class, and rather in the previous two classes, I had dealt with the graphical technique, and during these two classes, I had solved 2 or 3 sums of graphical technique, rather 4 sums today. So I must hope that it will be clear to the students. So now I am starting the simplex technique, and simplex technique for today's and another 1 or 2 classes, a couple of classes, we shall be doing maximization program. So we must finish first this maximization program of simplex, then we shall switch over to minimization program. So today I am just starting the simplex technique, and I have taken an example which I had solved by the graphical method, and the same sum will be solved today. So come on, this was the sum in the previous class. Maximize z 40x1 plus 30x2 subject to these 3 constraints, x1, x2 positive. That was a standard LP sum, and we had the solution that z was maximum when x1 was 16, x2 was 4, and maximum z was 760. So we must keep these answers, and we shall get the same answer through simplex technique. Now, this simplex is an iteration technique. In this method, we start our journey from the worst solution with the hope that it could be improved to the utmost extent, and when we reach that phase, rather this iteration or the improvement is continued till the improvement becomes absolutely infeasible or the cost of improvement is not bearable. So this way we start from the worst solution. Now this is an iteration process, first table, second table, third table, so on and so forth, till we get the optimum answer. To start with, while making first table, these are the 8 guidelines which must be followed. These must be followed. These are the 8 guidelines. Now we start. Write all constraints in equality form by using slack variables. These are the 3 inequalities to make it equal, and that too in the less than form. So something has to be added in these 3 equations, then it will become inequality. So by using slack variables, we have 3 equations, so 3 slack variables. So now it could be written as x1 plus 0x2 plus s1 is 16. Here we just don't have x1, so 0x1 plus x2 plus s2 is 8, and this says that x1 plus 2x2 plus s3, and this is 24. This is what all the inequalities are being converted into equalities by using slack variables. Something was less, so something has been added to make it equal. When this work was done, then we start with making first table. In first table, we start from the worst decision that I have spoken right now. So what we do, we take this x1 and x2 as 0. So decision variables are taken as 0. This means that S1 is 16, S2 is 8, and S3 is 24. Now this needs to be arranged in a tabular form. So S1, S2, S3, these 3 values, 16, 8, 24. Now if all these 2 x1 and x2 have been made 0, then absolutely z becomes 0. And we arrange the coefficients of x and y 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2. This has been done. Now negative values of the coefficients of x and y in objective function is taken. In objective function, the x1 has the coefficient 40 and x2 has the coefficient 30. So taking negative sign of these two values, making it worse, that's why it has been done. So we take minus 40 minus 30. Now the next step is identifying the pivot column. First of all, we have to identify the pivot column. Now, what it said, this table is improved. Yes, negative value of coefficient of x and y is often taken. Variable with largest coefficient in objective function is pivot column. Variable with largest coefficient in objective function, here is objective function, and x1 has the coefficient 40, x2 has the coefficient 30, so x1 has the largest coefficient, so not y, this is x2, x2, x1, yes, this x1 becomes pivot column, right? We have identified the pivot column. Once again, we look for the largest coefficient of the variables in the objective function, and the variable with largest coefficient becomes the pivot column in the first table. This rule is valid only for the first table. When these works have been done, then we calculate minimum ratio. What we do for the minimum ratio? These three are the solution values of slack variables. We divide each value of this column by the corresponding value of this column, pivot column. So 16 by 1, that is 16, 8 by 0, that is infinity, and this 24 by 1, that is 24. Now in these three ratios, we have to look for the minimum one. Minimum ratio can never be negative, can never be 0. Keep it in mind. So this minimum ratio can never be 0, can never be negative. So this is automatically wiped out. Now out of 16 and 24, this 16 is minimum. So absolutely this becomes pivot row. Now you just try to understand one thing. This pivot column is the incoming vector in next table, and this pivot row, this one is outgoing vector in the next table. So in the next table, x1 take the place of s1 and s1 go at this place. So this work has to be done, and the element at the intersection of pivot row and pivot column is pivot element. So we have got our pivot element as 1. So pivot element is 1. This much of work has to be done for the first table. First we arrange all the unequal constants in the inequality form using slack variables. The number of slack variables will be equal to the number of equations. Now we start with the first table. In the first table, all the decision variables are made 0. So when x1 and x2 is made 0, then we get the value of s1, s2 and s3. These are the values of slack variables. Now we make the first table. Slack variable values, these are the coefficient of x1 and x2 in the very constants. Then when we have arranged all the values, we look for the pivot column. Which one? x1 and x2. Which one will be the pivot column? The variable with largest coefficient in objective function would become the pivot column. Once we have identified the pivot column, then we divide these solutions of S1, S2, S3 by the corresponding element of the pivot column. So 16 by 1, 8 by 0 and 24 by 1. So we have got 16, infinity and 24. Out of these two numbers, 16 is minimum. So this is the pivot row, this is the pivot column, and the intersection at the intersection of pivot row and pivot column, element falls 1. This is known as the pivot element 1. Now, through these 8 rules, we just cover first table, and now another rule will be meant for every next table, first to second, second to third, third to fourth. 4, 5 rules are there that has to be followed. Just I am writing now on the blackboard and say it. Yes. Now, this was the first table. Now, for every next table, these 5 rules have to be followed. For every next table, these 5 rules have to be followed. Number 1 says that interchange variables of pivot row and pivot column. Pivot row and pivot column in the next table, both will interchange their place. So, x1 will come down here and s1 will go there. So, we have x1, s2, s3, and now s1 goes there. So, s1 and x2. This work has been done. Z. So, interchange variables of pivot row and pivot column from first table. We are just switching over to second table. In the first table, the very variable of this pivot column has come into the vector, and the element of pivot row has gone into the column. So, x1 and x1. Now, write reciprocal of pivot element in next table at the same place. Be mindful. Write reciprocal of pivot element in the next table at same place. We have the pivot element as 1. Its reciprocal have to be kept at the same place. So, 1 ka reciprocal will be 1. So, 1. This work has been done. This has been. Now, you do some work for pivot row. This is pivot row. For the next table, here work will be done. What says? Divide each element by pivot element. What we have to do in the pivot row, for the next table, each element of pivot row has to be divided by the pivot element. So, 16 by 1, 0 by 1. Yes, we have done the work of pivot row. Now, come on the pivot column. It says that divide by pivot element and multiply by -1. Once again, this rule says that divide each element of pivot column by pivot element and multiply it by -1. So, 0 by 1, 0 and minus, we don't keep minus with 0, and 1 by 1 and minus, that is -1, minus 40 by 1 and minus, it becomes 40. So, from first to second table or in the next table, first we interchange the variables, then we take the reciprocal of pivot element. Had it been 4, here we would have written 1 by 4. Had it been 3, it would have been 1 by 3. It is 1, so reciprocal of 1 is 1. Third, we do some operations in pivot row. What we do? This says that we just divide each element of pivot row by pivot element. So, each element of pivot row has to be divided by pivot element, 16 by 1 and 0 by 1. Fourth says that each element of pivot column should be divided by pivot element and it must be multiplied by -1. So, this 0 by 1 into minus 0, 1 by 1 into minus, -1, and minus 40 by 1 into minus, so this becomes 40. So, for the next table, we have done the work of pivot row and pivot column. Now, we have to manipulate those elements which are neither in the pivot row nor in the pivot column. So, those elements would be considered as off elements. Off elements neither in pivot row nor in pivot column. For this operation, this rule of thumb, you just keep in mind, let this n element is an off element. This is pivot row, this is pivot column, this is pivot element, and this element is lying here, which is neither in pivot row nor in pivot column. This n will go in the next table in the form, in next table, where we shall take n minus the corresponding element in pivot column. To n was a, just corresponding element in pivot row, that was C. So, C, A into C, and this divided by pivot element. This is the rule of thumb to be followed. Now, come on, this 8. Now 8 will go into the next table. How? This 8 minus the corresponding element pivot row was 16. Into corresponding element in pivot column was 0. And divided by 1, so it is 8. So this will remain as 8. This is 24. 24. This 24 will go in next table. 24 minus element in just pivot row, corresponding element 16 into element in just pivot column, that is 1, and divided by pivot element, so this is 8. So 8. The value of z was 0. Now let us see what happens to 0. 0 minus element in pivot row 16 into element in pivot column minus 40 and divided by pivot element, that is 640. So it is 640. Now these 1, 2, 3 element. Now this 1 minus corresponding element in the pivot row was 0. Corresponding element in just pivot column was 0 and pivot element was 1. So this is 1. So this 1 will be 1. 2 minus the corresponding element in pivot row was 0 into corresponding element in pivot column was 1 and divided by pivot element, that is 2. So this is 2. And now minus 30 has to be seen. Minus 30 minus corresponding element in the pivot row was 0 and corresponding element in the pivot column was minus 40 and divided by 0. So this is minus 30. So we have completed the second table. Now, what we observe in second table, yet we have not finished our work. We have to improve this solution till all entries against z becomes 0 or positive. Still we have one element as negative, so it needs another improvement. Now, for this table, as far as the very selection of pivot column is concerned, in second table we shall look for the negative values in z row, and the element with sign negative will be made pivot column. So this is pivot column. Once again the same work has to be performed and done. 5 steps. Now we calculate here minimum ratio. So 16 by 0, 8 by 1 and 8 by 2, that is 4. We look for the minimum value. This is minimum. So this will be the pivot row. We have got the pivot row, we have got the pivot column, and the intersection of pivot row and pivot column, we have the element 2. So this is the pivot element. Just I am going in third table, there we shall get the solution probably. This was the second table, and now in second table it says that it needs another improvement. For another improvement, we have just taken it as a pivot column. This has been the pivot row, and we have got the pivot element 2. Now, following all these 5 rules, we switch over to third table. Interchange the variables of pivot row and pivot column. So x1, s2, x2 and here will be S1 and S3. So we have interchanged the variables of pivot row and pivot column. This work has been done. Write reciprocal of pivot column in the next place, in next table at the same place. 2 is here. That has to be taken in an inverse way. So 2 will come here in the form of 1 by 2. Right. Now we have to do work for the pivot row. This says that divide each element by pivot element. Divide each element by pivot element. So 8 by 2, 4 and minus 1 by 2. Pivot row, we have done it. Now what I have is pivot column. This says that we have to divide by pivot element and multiply by minus 1. So 0 by 2 into minus, that is 0. 1 by 2 into minus, minus half, and minus 13 by 2 minus, so it is 15. So we have done the work of pivot row as well as the pivot column. Now we have to manipulate for the off elements. Now 16. Now how 16 will come in the next table? So 16n minus the corresponding element in the pivot column was 0. Corresponding element in the pivot row was 8 and divided by pivot element, that is 16. So this will come here as 16. 8 minus corresponding element in pivot row, that is 8, into corresponding element in pivot column, that is 1, and divided by pivot element 4, that is 4. So it is 4. Now 640. So 640 minus corresponding element in the pivot row, that is 8, into corresponding element in the pivot column, that is minus 30, and divided by pivot element, that is 640 plus, and 15 8 is 120, and this is 760. So Z has become 760. Now this one will go in the next table. The corresponding element in the pivot row was minus 1 into corresponding element in the pivot column 0 divided by pivot element, that is 1. So this is 1, and finally we have this 0 has to be manipulated. 0 minus corresponding element in pivot row, that is minus 1. Corresponding element in this pivot column, that is 1, and divided by 2. So this is 1 by 2. So this is 1 by 2, and finally this 40 has to be manipulated. So 40 minus corresponding element in pivot row, corresponding element in pivot column, and divided by pivot element, that is 40. We have 3 minus, and 30 by 2, that is 15, and this is 25. Well, students, now see what has happened. While going on from improvement in third table, what we find that all entries against Z has become positive. So there is no chance, no possibility of any improvement, and rather this third table gives us the optimal solution. All the values are lying here. So optimal solution, Z is maximum at x1 16, x2 4, and maximum Z is 760. This is what we have found by graphical technique, and this is the simplex technique. So once again I would like to tell you that for making first table I have given 7-8 guidelines. This is, and in addition to that, these 5 guidelines you have to keep in memory. With the help of these guidelines you shall be able to solve. In this class I have solved this one. For another 1-2 classes, I'll be just dealing with LP and with the simplex method. So in the next class, I shall solve another sum, rather 1 or 2 sums in the class. This is what for today simplex. You do practice, and whatever problem you do have, make in comments. Then I'll be able to understand that where the students are having problem or the any intricacies. So this is what for today. We shall meet in next class. Thanks.